Okay, welcome back everyone to the deep dive. We are picking right back up with Eugene McMillan's autobiography, Vagabond on Victory Road.
We are. This time it's chapter 12, and the title is pretty intriguing. A strange character.
It really is. And it starts right as Eugene's making a pretty major change. He's ditching the freight trains, deciding to travel by highway instead.
Which seems straightforward enough, maybe. But oh boy, does it lead him into one of the weirdest, most revealing encounters of his whole journey.
Absolutely. So just to recap, this is our 12th deep dive into this memoir. Eugene's heading east near Shreveport, Louisiana, trying to get back home to North Carolina.
And that decision to stop hopping freights and start hitchhiking, it puts him directly in the path of this, well, this unforgettable character.
So our mission today is to really get into this. It's about a 24-hour period, basically, that Eugene spends with this guy, Joseph Wester.
Yeah, we want to figure out who this strange character really was, look at how Eugene reacts to all the contradictions, because there are a lot.
Oh, yeah. And see what this short, kind of intense partnership shows us about life on the road back then.
It definitely shows how fast things could change, who you might end up relying on, even for a day. It's quite a slice of life.
Okay, let's dive in. Chapter 12 kicks off with Eugene back in a familiar setting, at least initially. He's at the Bossier City Freight Yard looking for a train east.
Right. Standard procedure for him up till now. He walks down the track, sees some hobos around a fire.
He watches them for a bit, checks out the scene.
Yeah.
But something feels off this time. He says he felt ill at ease.
Mm-hmm. And he also admits he's just plain tired of swinging freights. Hop in the moving trains. We know how risky that could be.
Definitely. And it's right then, standing there, that he makes this quick, determined decision, just like that.
He literally says to himself, from now on, I am traveling on the highways.
Such a pivot, after relying on rails for so long.
It really is a shift, trading that sort of hidden world of the train yards for just being out there, exposed on the highway, depending on, well, whoever stops.
And it's not easy at first, is it? His first try hitchhiking is pretty grim.
No, it's rough. Evening's coming on, it's cold, windy, cars just zoom past. He says he almost despaired of getting a ride for the night.
You can picture that feeling, can't you? Just standing there feeling invincible and kind of hopeless.
Totally isolating. But just as he's about to give up...
Along comes this noisy old T-model Ford. Rattling up the road, he flags it down.
And it actually stops. A kind voice says, "Get in, kid, it's too cold for you out there."
Finally, a break. He gets in and immediately notices the car is, let's say, well-loved. He calls it not far removed from the junkyard, coughing and sputtering.
Huh. Not exactly confidence-inspiring. So this is his ride.
This is it. The driver introduces himself, Joseph Wester, but call him Joe. He asks Eugene's name.
Eugene says McMillan Gene, but Joe kind of renames him on the spot. I'll call you Mac.
Right. And then Joe asks where he's going.
And this is where Eugene gives that very characteristic answer we've heard before, really centered on his faith.
Exactly. He says, well, first and foremost, I'm headed for heaven, but right now I'm on my way home to North Carolina.
And Joe's reaction is actually positive, isn't it? He likes the heaven part.
Yeah, he says it's a good way of putting it. Then he asks Eugene if he's a preacher.
Eugene's a bit cautious, says he just likes to tell others what the Lord has done for me.
And that's the opening Joe needs. He puffs up, Eugene says, and announces.
Well, Mac, I'm right with you on that. You see, I am a preacher.
Boom. Just like that.
And Eugene's reaction, internally at least, is immediate skepticism. He says there was simply nothing about Joe's appearance that suggested preacher.
He gives this really detailed description. Grimy hands, slouchy hat, this roll-your-own cigarette just hanging there.
Yeah, clothes made from, fertilizer sacks, patched pants, stubble, just generally rough-looking.
He even thinks for a second maybe he's like a John the Baptist type, unconventional.
But nah, he dismisses that pretty quick. The whole picture just doesn't fit.
So his first impression, just based on looks, is basically, he was not my idea of a Christian, much less a preacher.
But he holds back from judging completely right away. He decides, okay, let's spend some time with him. His real character will come out. He even predicts it'll take less than 6 hours.
Which, spoiler alert, turns out to be pretty accurate for confirming those initial doubts.
Yeah. So they get settled into this T model, which Joe casually mentions is his home, and now Eugene's home too, for the time being.
And what a home. It's stripped down, got this crude cab built on, 2 bunks, little oil stove, boxes of what Eugene just calls plain junk.
Quite the setup. Joe says he's heading for Vicksburg, Mississippi. Admits it's a long haul in this buggy.
Then he makes this seemingly generous offer. I don't have much, but half I've got is yours.
Sounds nice on the surface.
But Eugene's inner thought is hilarious. He says if Joe had offered him 98 cents or the whole car setup, he'd have grabbed the cash in a heartbeat.
Huh. Tells you what he thought of the car. And he also mentions how cold it is inside, even with the engine heat. Decides it's strictly for warm weather travel.
Not great for a chilly night. So they drive on, and around 9 o'clock they pull over near this place. It's a cafe, gas station, and tavern all rolled into one.
They head into the cafe part first, get some coffee. Eugene buys some candy bars with his own quarter. Joe pays for the coffee. Seems Joe spends whatever cash he has right then.
And this stop becomes really pivotal. After coffee, Joe wanders over to the tavern section.
Right, and Eugene paints the picture. Loud jukebox playing a wild tune, people dancing, drinking, smoky air. A fast tempo, he calls it.
He watches Joe checking it out and notes Joe seems too interested. Even has a pleased expression watching what Eugene considers exhibitions of the flesh.
Uh-oh. This isn't looking good from Eugene's perspective.
Not at all. Then, Eugene says to his surprise and disgust, Joe just strolls over the bar and starts chatting happily with the folks there. Apparently he knows people.
And Eugene describes these people as looking like they walk according to the course of this world. Very biblical phrasing there.
For Eugene, that's it. Confirmation. He says, this was enough.
Wow. So he doesn't stick around.
Nope. He heads back out to the cold tea model, this shack on wheels, and just sits there, thinking it all over, feeling profoundly disturbed. His thought, things were not what I desired.
You really feel his disillusionment there. He thought maybe, just maybe, but no.
It gets worse. About an hour later, Joe pops back out just to say he's going out with friends for 2 or 3 hours.
And leaves Eugene in the cold car.
Yep. Eugene tries to sleep, but gets little sleep. He's just too unsettled.
Yeah, I mean, meeting someone claiming to be a preacher who's clearly right at home in a tavern, that's a huge disconnect for Eugene.
Definitely shakes him up.
Yeah.
So the next morning, before dawn, Joe finally comes back.
He lights the lamp, asks Eugene, think I wasn't coming back? Trying to be casual, maybe?
Seems like it. Eugene is just silent, though. Still processing. Joe starts making breakfast eggs fried in lard on that little stove.
But Eugene's mood is obvious. Joe eventually pushes him, right? Mac, say something. You're not all that sore at me, are you?
And Eugene finally lets him have it, but calmly. He uses a stern, low voice. Says he's not sore, but he didn't like the way you carried on last night.
And Joe's excuse is just, wow. Oh, Mac, even preachers have got to have their fun, don't they?
Oh, that's not the right thing to say to Eugene. His reply is immediate and sharp.
I bet.
Yeah, but not the sinful kind the world enjoys. He tells Joe straight up, don't call yourself a preacher or a Christian if that's how you spend your time.
Joe goes quiet then, I imagine.
He does. And Eugene, feeling this grieved soul, just launches into what he calls a sermon born of the Spirit, pulling out his New Testament.
He actually preaches to Joe, right there in the T-model.
Basically, yeah. He confronts him directly with Scripture. Verses about, not being unequally yoked with unbelievers, about friendship with the world being enmity with God, about your body being a temple.
All aimed at pointing out the contradiction between Joe's claim and his actions.
Exactly. And then he asks these really direct questions. Does Jesus' death mean anything to you? Have you really been saved? Have you been born again? Heavy stuff.
Wow, how does Joe react to that?
He doesn't say anything, but Eugene sees big tears rolling down his face, falling into the hot breakfast pan and just sizzling away.
Whoa, so some kind of emotional response?
Eugene sees it as sorrow, yeah. Evident sorrow for his sin. But here's the key part of Eugene's interpretation.
Wow.
He felt Joe was still unwilling to turn from the shameful life he was living.
So tears, but no repentance, in Eugene's view. A really poignant moment.
It is. After this, things kind of shift gears. Joe shaves, and Eugene notices he actually has clean-cut features under the stubble. Looks younger than 40.
And then Joe starts making more claims, right? About being a war hero.
Yeah, wounded aviator, World War I, silver plate in his head.
And Eugene's thinking.
He thinks Riley. I began to wonder if he had anything else in his head.
Huh. Yeah, the skepticism is definitely growing.
But Eugene concludes, Joe's real problem isn't his head, it's his heart. He even quotes Jeremiah about the heart being deceitful.
So he sees it as a deep spiritual issue, even where Joe is boasting about helping poor people.
Right? Another contradiction. Eugene admits Joe was extremely kind to him personally, shared what he had, but he just couldn't understand nor fully trust him.
That conflict must have been really draining, and the actual traveling doesn't get any easier, does it?
Oh, the travel day is a nightmare. That poor T model just keeps breaking down. Times without number, Eugene says, stalling on every hill.
He figures out the engine's burning oil, fouling the spark plugs. They have to stop constantly to clean them.
At one point, they run completely out of oil. Neither has any money. So Eugene has to walk quite a way just to scrounge up some used oil to keep the thing going.
Man, that's rough. And on top of all that, he's starving.
Yeah, he mentions eating just wilted collard stems and a raw onion someone gave Joe. No bread, no salt, nothing. Just raw hunger.
Ugh, that really paints a picture of the hardship.
And all this stress, the car, the hunger, probably the tension with Joe, it finally makes Joe lose it.
Ah, the temper tantrums.
Yep. Early afternoon, car stalls on another hill. Joe just snaps, jumps out in a rage, throws his hat down, stomps on it.
And warns Eugene first.
He does. Turns to Eugene and says, "Son, preacher or no preacher, I'm going to cuss."
And then lets loose.
A torrent of obscene words at the engine. Eugene says it sent prickly chills down his spine.
But then he just calms down.
Just like that. Calms down, cleans the plugs again. Eugene says he never saw him lose his temper like that again. Strange.
Very strange. But things improve slightly after that.
When they finally hit flat country near Monroe, Louisiana. Yeah, the car runs a bit better, and Joe's mood swings back completely. Cheerful, optimistic again.
Meanwhile, Eugene's just thinking about how to get away from him.
Exactly. But Joe, maybe sensing it or just feeling good, tells Eugene he should stick with me.
And then comes the big idea.
The big scheme. Joe asks if Eugene does any public speaking. Eugene says, little.
And Joe gets excited. Well, good. You stick with me and we'll make the dough.
He lays out this plan for Vicksburg. Get a crowd using a friend's movie projector, then have Eugene speak on religion.
Figuring they're bound to shell out plenty of money when the collection is taken. Oh, boy.
And that, for Eugene, is the final nail in the coffin. He says, that was enough. There was no doubt as to whether I should stay with him or not.
Yeah, using religion explicitly as a way to make the dough. That confirms all of Eugene's worst fears about Joe's motives.
It's exactly what Eugene meant by that phrase, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. It looked kind of like religion, but the engine driving it, according to Eugene, was something else entirely.
A really powerful insight into how Eugene judged character and authenticity.
So he knows he has to leave, but he admits he kind of delays, waits longer than I should have.
And then fate intervenes dramatically.
Right near sundown, they stop again, hungry. Joe decides to go back down the road to trade a bedspread for food at a store. Tells Eugene to wait in the car.
Eugene's sitting there in the cab, probably thinking, okay, now how do I leave?
His mind is racing about Joe, about leaving, and then suddenly, bam! An ear-splitting crash.
He gets thrown around inside the car.
Violently tossed about. Then silence. He picks himself up, shaking, and looks around. The T model is just destroyed. A total wreck, knocked clear off the road into a field.
He doesn't even know what happened at first.
No idea.
Yeah.
Thinks maybe a tornado, a bomb. It's completely disoriented.
But incredibly, he's not seriously hurt.
Almost miraculously. Just 2 or 3 small smarting brush burns. That's it.
Then Joe runs up.
Yeah, calling out, Mac. Mac, are you all right? Eugene manages a yes, and Joe tells him what happened.
A big truck hit them.
Hit the exact corner of the cab where Eugene had been sitting just moments before.
Wow. You can see why Eugene saw that as divine protection. He quotes Deuteronomy, "The eternal God is thy refuge."
Absolutely. A narrow escape from death in his eyes.
The truck drivers show up, claim their steering locked. Joe immediately goes with them to find the owner, wants damages paid.
And asks Eugene, again, to stay with the wreck. Stay with his wrecked property.
Even after that, Eugene is still wrestling with leaving.
Oh, yeah. He says thoughts of leaving this wholly unsatisfactory business kept shooting through his mind. Plus, he calculates they'd only gone 85 miles in a whole day, get nowhere fast.
That practical aspect hits hard, too.
Joe comes back late that night, having gotten nowhere with the truck owner who wouldn't even come out. Joe thinks the guy is dodging him, plans to put the pressure on, maybe using local connections.
Which adds yet another layer to Joe's character, maybe. Using influence.
Could be. Eugene just says he's sorry it happened. They spend a truly miserable night trying to sleep in the wreckage. Cold, drafty, no rest.
Next morning, there's frost everywhere. Joe decides to hitchhike back to Arcadia to deal with the truck owner situation.
And ask Eugene one last time. Tear you by the stuff.
So Eugene waits and waits. For hours. Starts wondering if Joe just ditched him.
And it's during that wait that he feels these strong impressions to leave and travel on alone,
Mm.
just bearing down on him.
And this time, he listens.
This time, they prevailed. His mind is made up. He finds some paper in his notebook and writes Joe a note.
That note is something else, isn't it? Part apology, part explanation, part sermon.
It really is. He says sorry to leave, feels it's best, makes clear it's not because of the accident.
Acknowledges Joe's kindness, which is important.
But he's honest too. I just can't understand your actions at times. Thanks him for the help.
Says he'll pray for him, then gets right back to the spiritual core of their conflict.
Yeah, urges him again. Take heed to the word of God I have spoken unto you. Turn from your life of sin. Humble yourself before God. Take Jesus into your heart.
Reminds him his blood cleanses from all sin, calls Jesus a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. Powerful stuff.
Signs it, your friend, Gene McMillan. He fastens it to the steering wheel, straightens himself up, and starts walking down the highway towards Monroe.
And just like that, Joe Wester is out of his life. He never saw him or heard from him again.
What a whirlwind 24 hours. This whole encounter with Joe Wester, it's just such a vivid snapshot of the unpredictability of the road.
And the kind of intense, personal and moral challenges Eugene faced constantly. Joe is just this bundle of contradictions.
Kindness and generosity mixed with what Eugene saw as worldliness, maybe even deception, with that whole preacher scheme.
It really puts you, the listener, right there with Eugene, trying to figure this guy out. How do you deal with someone whose actions seem so at odds with their words or their claims?
Yeah, how do you judge character? Do you focus on the kindness shown or the perceived hypocrisy? Eugene clearly lands on one side.
And that phrase, again, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof, seems central to his takeaway. It's about the difference between appearance and reality for him.
Exactly. And his decision to leave, explained so clearly in that note, feels like him drawing a line, protecting his own path and integrity.
Sometimes, yeah, even if there's kindness, the fundamental disconnect is just too big to keep traveling together.
Well, Eugene's back on his own now, walking towards Monroe, Louisiana. The journey definitely continues in the next chapter.
Absolutely. Lots more to explore in Vagabond on Victory Road.
So here's something to think about from this chapter. We talked about Eugene seeing Joe as having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. Thinking about Joe's behavior, the tavern, the temper, the money scheme versus his claim of being a preacher,
Yeah.
what does that contrast make you consider about how we perceive authenticity in others? How much weight do we give actions versus words?